So this video is going to be about how do I personally cultivate vital energy. Now, I've gone over Asian methods, Western magical traditions. Okay. Now, I want to go over how do I personally cultivate vital energy or ki. Now, people might remember I said I'm not a big fan of either the Eastern or Western methods at this point in time, although I do use more of the Eastern methods than the Western methods. This is because the medicinal practice of what's called naturopathic medicine is geared greatly around the cultivation of vital energy. That's the whole basis of naturopathic medicine, is the cultivation of vital energy. So I was turned on to naturopathic medicine when the gerontologists that I was friends with on Facebook turned me on to the Seventh-day Adventist diet, because Seventh-day Adventists can live on, roughly 10 years longer than the general population through vigorous exercise, through avoiding alcohol, through avoiding tobacco, through avoiding caffeine, getting plenty of sunshine, getting plenty of fresh air, sleeping properly, resting, yada, 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 trusting in God, da, 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 da. So when I started reading the works of Ellen G. White, and one of the best ones is Christian Temperance and Bible Hygiene, and another good one is Counsels on Diet and Food. That took me to the works of Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. Now, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg kind of sort of was the originator, in my opinion, of naturopathic medicine in the United States, although there's probably somebody before him. But the point is that the whole concept of naturopathic medicine is to cultivate vital energy, or ki. So I did spend a lot of time practicing Asian methods of energy cultivation, and I still do. I practice what's called Nedan, which is a breathing technique and focusing on the what's called the Tanjun in Korean, or the Hara in Japanese. It's your center point. And I actually more or less practice what's called Zazen anymore. I practice more so the Japanese method of it, not so much the Taoist method, more the Japanese Buddhist method than the Taoist Chinese method, or the alchemical method, the internal alchemy method. But the results, I believe, are the same. It's just the concept of Zazen is much, 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 much more straightforward and much less, requires a lot less visualization and yada, 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 yada. So that's what I practice as far as the traditional Asian methods go. Now, what I also do is I practice vigorous physical exercise, okay? Because I follow the 8 laws of health. I believe that the 8 laws of health, which are nutrition, nutrition, exercise, hydration, sunlight, temperance, meaning avoidance of alcohol, tobacco, and caffeine, although I'm not 100% with the caffeine. I got to get better with that. Temperance, okay. Fresh air, rest, okay. And then after rest comes, trusting in God, okay. Now, with trusting in God, that's one of the things that brought me back to my pantheistic beliefs, and that's what got me to, if you look in the description, you will see a bunch of links to people like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Wallace Wattles, and a lot of the New England transcendentalists. See, I was a scientific pantheist already. Particularly, I was geared towards cosmotheism, which is the religion of the late Dr. William Luther Pierce. But now I would consider myself sort of a non-denominational scientific pantheist. Also, Ellen White, the prophetess of Seventh-day Adventism, uses a lot of naturalistic allegories to explain her interpretation of God and what God wants. And in fact, the Bible uses a lot of naturalistic allegories. But my point is I'm kind of in between the two of a scientific pantheist and a spiritual pantheist in a way, although I don't believe in a spiritual world. I believe that nature is God and the laws of nature are the laws of God, factually speaking. I adhere to the concepts of Ralph Waldo Emerson. I adhere, and I do believe that the thing that people don't understand, I do not believe in only a direct experience of the divine through nature. I believe that one can turn inward on oneself through meditation and self exploration. And I also believe in the need to understand that there are universal truths throughout all of the major religions. And these come from the fact that the major religions at one time came from the same source, which was nature. There's only one God, which is nature, and that's the source of the vital energy. That's the source of everything. Okay? So that's what brought me back to this belief in a pantheistic interpretation of God. Although I already had that prior to my scientist friends turning me on to the Seventh-day Adventist lifestyle. But the Adventist lifestyle really did help reawaken. When I started rereading, when I was reading Ellen White's work, and seeing it with, as I said, with a magician's eyes, because I have practiced Telema, and I consider myself to be a practitioner of the Western magical tradition, or at least a former practitioner of the Western magical tradition. But once you practice the magic that Crowley outlines, your outlook on life and on reality is permanently changed. So when I saw the what do you call it? The writings of Ellen White, and then I started reading the corresponding Bible passages and stuff. I saw the Bible with fresh eyes. And I'm not a Christian by any stretch of the imagination, but it did let me understand that the same truths that are in Buddhism, the same truths that are in Islam, that are in Hinduism, that are in Christianity, that are in Judaism, that are in the Kabbalah. These same truths were present in Christianity. They're present in all major religions. They're even present in paganism. So to make a long story short, that's what brought me back to that. Now, what kinds of exercises do I do? Well, I do, although I do more exercises than what's outlined in the 5 major exercises of the Royal Air Force, the BX program, or 5BX, I think it used to be called. I do more than that. I also do more than the 5 Tibetans, the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation, as many people, anybody that practices a magical tradition will be familiar with the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation, because they are practiced by many magical orders as a means of basically strengthening the body so that it can perform magic. So people that practice Western magic probably will be familiar with the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation, unless they're practicing like Wicca or something like that. But if they're practicing like something that comes from the Golden Dawn tradition or something of that nature, they will be familiar with the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation, because it's in some of these other systems like the Golden Dawn and things that came from the Golden Dawn, which is pretty much everything. So people will be familiar with that. I also practice strength training, okay? And this is because exercise increases the production of ATP. So ATP is the energy currency of the cell, and it also increases the health of the mitochondria. And aerobics increases the health of the mitochondria. So what you need to understand is more mitochondrial output, more energy, more vital energy. I also make sure I try to make sure I sleep. A lot of people will notice sometimes I get on here and I look like hell. And this has to do primarily with me not sleeping enough. Or not sleeping enough all at once. So I do try to sleep my mandatory 8 hours. Usually it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes I'll have to sleep 6 hours. When I'm really, I've been doing a lot of aerobics lately to drop my weight. Like I cut my weight probably like 10 pounds in about a little over 2 weeks. And the way I did that was I was hammering out the cardio. Okay, so I'm not as worn out as I would be as if I was weightlifting, but the weightlifting wasn't taking the weight off me like I wanted it to. So I started hammering the cardio. I'm doing like between an hour or between 45 minutes and an hour of intense cardio a day. I was doing that to drop my weight because the weightlifting doesn't take the weight off you like the cardio does. It'll help you pack on the muscle and things like that, but it doesn't help you cut the fat as well as the cardio. So I was doing a lot of cardio, so I'm not as worn out as when I do the weightlifting. I shouldn't say worn out, but with weightlifting, you earn your sleep, so to say. You get more tired. You feel tired. You need rest after weightlifting. With cardio, it's not the same kind of tired. At least for me, it's not. I don't know people that get that worn out by cardio, although I do know some people that have experienced some similar, like some exhaustion, especially when beginning cardio programs. But I've also been trying to work up my cardiovascular endurance so that I can be healthier, of course. So I've been concentrating on the cardio and that sort of thing. But the weightlifting obviously does tire you out in a different kind of way. The other thing that I make sure I do are pelvic floor exercises, what are called Kegel exercises. That will also be in the description. This strengthens the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is the area that holds your organs in, really, but it's also the area, most notably, that controls blood flow to the reproductive organs. So this helps with blood flow to the reproductive organs, and it can also help keep man from developing prostate hyperplasia, which is an enlargement of the prostate. And it's very important, I think, that all men do Kegel exercises, although they were invented for women. They also help control with bladder control, things like that, although that's not something I need to worry about, but it's something, it enhances the performance, the sexual performance. So this goes back to the Taoist ideas of the concept of Jing energy. Jing energy is basically sexual. It's like orgone, okay, or like orgone, like Wilhelm Reich's orgone. The Jing energy is more or less the same thing as like libido, but like a real libido. Like not like libido is an idea, but Jing is real. It's sexual virility. So the Kegel exercises do help with the sexual virility. I also take a mess of supplements. I will be continuing to do my supplement list. I take a lot of supplements. The B vitamins, particularly folic acid, B12, folic acid and B12 help with with sexual health, and that's again with the Jing energy. They also help with energy production in general. So the thing is, like I was saying, with the Asiatic practices, such as Zazen, when I do my Zazen meditation, I do not find that to be necessarily the cultivation of key energy. I see it making the practitioner aware that this energy exists. The way that you make more ki is through the practice of these more Western methods, these more modern Western methods, not even the Western magical tradition methods, but these more naturopathic oriented methods, similar to those, similar and the same as those professed by the Seventh-day Adventists. And I encourage people to follow the links in the description.